Yes, I know, I said that Foursome will be taking a break, but I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do Friday Foursome 16, and then it's going to take its summer holiday, I promise. A couple of months break from Friday Foursome. I just want to get this one done and out of the way, because I want to ask the question. It's kind of themed with summer, and here in the UK it's summer, for want of a better word, when it's not raining and thunderstorming and generally gale force winds and that kind of British climate. Brexit can't change that. Political pun there. And to get that one in. Anyway, 12 entries we had for Friday Foursome 15. Fighting games. Did you do the Cesaro thing? 12 great entries. Thank you very much everyone who entered. And thank you very much to the new guys. I think it's first entry for Sinclair Ferranti, so welcome Preston. And a new entry from a new chap, a new YouTuber I believe he is, Gull Payne. So welcome Mr. Gull, sir, for your Friday Foursome virginity, as it were. The usual names all crop up. John Gage, thank you very much. Gabriel Sin, Golden Age Gamer, thank you, welcome back by the way. TJ Pelusius, True Marvellous, welcome back Sean. Astonia 150, Gary, JL76. Of course, it's always going to be Astonia and JL76. They're fighting it out. They're doing a sort of like personal. How many foursomes can we do? Like a personal vendetta. Or how I can get more foursomes than you. It's the North versus Scotland. Infected Flinch, thank you, Dave, and of course the man with the fighting Friday fight night thing, Shock 16. And as I've already mentioned, Gull Payne, thank you very much for you. There is one winner this time, because he's the only person that got the most votes, and everybody else basically got 2 votes each. Very low on the voting again. I'm going to have to do something about this voting thing. It's sort of dropped off the voting. Entries, great. Views, great. But voting, bit low. Everyone basically got 2 votes apart from one person. So, here we go, across the pond, yet again, to another Foursome regular, Kit171, with his 4 favourite fighting games. And remember, no Streets of Rage 2, and no Street Fighter 2.
So, starting off here, and it's a Neo Geo game, and I've talked about this one many times before. By the way, I've also mentioned many times before on here, and I still do, because it hasn't changed. A long time ago I used to be good at it, but I'm not good at fighting games, but I still like playing them. So, I'll get that out of the way, in case you've never heard me say that. Anyway, so the first one here I'm going to talk about, well, I don't really know what to say for most of these, but the first one for me is Samurai Shodown, the first one, or Samurai Spirits. In this case, it's not the Japanese version, so it's called Shodown. And I also got the Genesis Mega Drive port, which is alright. Anyway, this is kind of a special game to me for many reasons. For one, it's actually the first Neo Geo game I ever came across and played, so that's one reason. And on top of that, too, it's just a great fighting game. Of course, this is the first one in the series, and overall, in general, yes, Samurai Shodown Spirits 2 is pretty much the best one, which I also have. It's sitting right over there. But I had to go with this one, because I've always had a thing for the first one. I always liked it the most. I don't know, it seems most special to me. Oh, and besides that, it's a great fighting game, and part of the reason I like it is just how it feels when you're playing it. I mean, it looks great too. The animations, the music, the backgrounds, it's all great. It's a Neo Geo game, so it's got a lot of detail, even for an early Neo Geo game. And then you got, once it goes to things like 4, which I also have, then it gets even more detailed. But anyway, it's just the way the fighting feels in this, and I like it a lot, the way the combos work and all, especially since it also has a weapon system. And quite a few of the characters also have kind of allies or pets that they can call, and one's got a hawk and all. I just overall like how the whole thing feels. That's the best way I can explain Samurai Shodown for me. I've always liked it a lot, and I don't really know a good way to explain it, but always had a lot of fun with the first one in particular, so I had to go with this one. Otherwise, I probably would have just went with the second one, since it is pretty much the best one. But anyway, yeah, that was my own personal decision to go with the first one here. Alright, moving on from there. Next up, and this is one I'm pretty sure many of you know, especially this version of it, because depending on what platform you got it on, you got a specific special character. That really didn't matter that much to me, but I'll admit, since I did get this one of it, I do like the character it got. And that would be Soul Calibur 2, and of course, being on the Nintendo GameCube, you get Link as the special character who's on the front here. And if you got the PlayStation 2 version, you got the... can't remember if it was, I think it was someone from Tekken or someone else, and then the Xbox got someone else. Anyway, yeah, in general, Soul Calibur 2, fantastic game. It took me a very long time to get around to playing it, though. I played the first one on the Dreamcast, and I really liked it a lot, but it took me forever to get around to getting the second one, and then when I finally did, it was the GameCube, and it pretty much was just like the first one, which I liked a lot, only more and improved. And again, of course, you get the special character Link, who actually I do like playing as quite a lot, but not my favorite character in this. Again, kind of like what I said about Samurai Shodown, the same thing applies here. I really like how it deals with a weapon system. Kind of noticing that as a pattern here. I don't know, I just like that with fighting games when you get to use weapons and all that kind of stuff, like that, swords or whatever it might be. But then you lose those and you're not nearly as effective and you have to get those back again and all. And on top of that, you also, when you have the kind of weapon system like this has, you also have to deal with different things than you don't when it's a normal type of fighting game, like say if it was Mortal Kombat or something like that, which you do have weapons in that, but not in the same way. It's not, the main focus is not on the swords and stuff. And when you got it in this, you have to do the kind of things like you block, parry, and all that, like you would if you were in a sword fight. And that kind of thing greatly appeals to me. So I like that about it. Also, in a small way, that kind of does let me play a little better than I normally would in most other kind of fighting games. Let me put it that way. Because I understand and can pull that off a lot better than, say, pretty much any Street Fighter. I still like playing as I said. Anyway, you'll see this come up again for my last choice, which technically would be my top favorite fighting game, but we'll get there. Anyway, back to Soul Calibur 2. The other reason I like this one in particular is because of all the other extra stuff it has, which with fighting games it's been a long-running thing for a long time now. They got all these kind of extra special modes. And this one's got quite a lot going for it, and I just like that a lot about it. You know, it's easily one of my favorite games on the GameCube, even though it's not an exclusive. But not my favorite fighting game on the GameCube, because that's actually coming up next. I don't know what else to say about it. It's difficult for me to talk about fighting games, but Soul Calibur 2 is just a fantastic one. I like it a lot. Anyway, so coming up next, as I said, is my favorite fighting game in the GameCube, and I know it's not the usual kind of fighting game that we all think of. Again, it's not the Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, King of Fighters type, but it's still a fighting game, and it's a lot of fun, and it's also good for people like me who are not good with combos, so let's put it that way. Yes, it's Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I mean this one in particular. I played all the ones in the series, including the one on the Wii U, while I had it, and I've still always preferred this one. And again, it all comes back to how it feels. I just love how this one's so fast. And as I said about that, it's kind of strange. I was able to play this one, and Brawl for that matter, on the Wii, far better than I did on the Wii U, and I don't understand that, even though this one's technically slightly faster in some ways. I don't know, maybe it's just because I played it for so long. But I did play this for a very, very long time. I got it when it was brand new in the GameCube. I liked the one on the N64, but it didn't really wow me over. It kind of felt stiff in some ways to me, and definitely if I go back and try to play it now, it does feel kind of stiff, partly due to controller, but I'm not going to get into that. Melee, though, I just like the overall thing of it, the overall package. I loved all the extra special modes in it. I like the characters you can play as in it, and which ones were in it as well, because that changed too, depending on which entry in the series you play. Some never came back, some did. And of course you got the one on the Wii U, which has a lot of characters. It's even got, what's his name from Punch-Out in it, and also the Wii Fit Trainer. Anyway, this one, I just like the overall thing of it, and how all the extra stuff in it, and then of course it also has the normal classic or adventure mode, whatever you want to call it, where you have to fight Master Hand, and if you play on the hard enough difficulty, you fight Crazy Hand. I just like the way that was set up too, and how it spaces itself out from the normal fighting, and you got the other kind of stuff like 100-man melee and all that kind of stuff. If you've played it, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, obviously. I just liked how it is. That's why I like this game so much. And I like specifically Melee because of the way they went about this one. I like how fast it is, I like how fluid it is, and also how responsive it is, which ties in with how fast it is. It's one thing if it was really fast, but you really had to know what you're doing to get along with it. For whatever reason, I always did well in this, despite how fast it is, even though, as I said, I've always struggled with fighting games. A long time ago I used to have better skill in them, but that went away quick for whatever reason. In this, though, for some reason, I always held up with it. I don't know what else I can say about it, other than it's just, I had an absolutely massive amount of fun with this game, and I still do now, which is part of the reason why I wanted it again. It's also pretty much the top game I still play on my GameCube. But, yeah, absolutely fantastic, and to me, I still think the best one in the series. So the last and final game to talk about here, which I kind of wanted to save for last to talk about it. I don't have it anymore, so I can't hold it up either. So I'll just show you a box shot of it in edit. This easily could qualify as of all the fighting games I have ever played, or my skill level at it, regardless. This easily could qualify for me as my favorite fighting game ever. Period. There's also a sequel to it, which I like that one a lot too. In many ways, it's better, but they're very similar. So I'm just going to go with the first one since that's the one I always played the most of. And I only ever got to rent the second one. Could never find anywhere to buy it. But my last one here for Friday Foursome VR is Bushido Blade, which I'm pretty sure many of you have heard of, if not played, and you probably have heard me mention it fairly often throughout various videos, including some streams I've done. I bring it up once in a while for good reason. If you've never played Bushido Blade, it really and truly is, even now, despite how old it is, and it came out on the first PlayStation, it was an exclusive for it. And there was also the sequel, Bushido Blade 2, which again is fantastic. I don't have a PlayStation anymore, so that's obviously why I don't have it. I can't show it. If I did have a PlayStation still, I damn well would be one of the first games I get for it again. Anyway, Bushido Blade, if you've never played it, truly is, and I still think, despite how old it is, going back to what I was saying, one of the most unique fighting games you could play. There really isn't that many like it. There are a few I've heard other people say that kind of play like that, but not the same. In this game, you might think it's unfair, but it's actually not. When you understand how the game works, you can kill your enemies in one hit. Literally. Instant death. If you know what you're doing, and you know where to aim for and what to hit. That can happen when you're playing against AI, but you can also do it when you're playing against a real player. And that's where things can either get really annoying and argumentative if they're a sore loser, or it could be very competitive because you're constantly trying to guard yourself so that doesn't happen. I could go on about this game for a very long time, by the way. I'm going to try not to. The thing with this one is the fighting system, period. That is the absolute best reason to play it and why I like it so much. Not just because you can kill enemies in one hit, but it's so strategic. You can literally disable limbs in this. And your opponent, again, whether it's AI or it's a real player, as well as yourself. That's why you got to be careful with this. If you mess up, like say if you're playing against AI and they get a good shot in on you, which by the way, there's a guy who kind of is, I always thought it was kind of BS, but he's got a gun and he can shoot you with and you're using melee weapons, but whatever. It's challenging. It's not that hard. Anyway, you can go for certain limbs and you could disable them that way. In fact, you could literally disable both their arms and they have to kind of hit you with their head. It's hilarious, but that's what happens. For back when this game came out, it was an absolutely amazing kind of revolutionary idea for a fighting game. Not really have had many other things like this. The only other game I know for a fact that I played personally that's kind of similar to how Bushido Blade works is on the Genesis Mega Drive, which that, to be fair, isn't as well made as Bushido Blade, and it doesn't control as well, doesn't play as fast, and so on and so forth, is Budokan Martial Spirit, or however you pronounce that. You probably know what I'm talking about. Poop Ninja, I know if you're watching this, you know what it is, because I know you like that game as well. But anyway, Bushido Blade takes that idea and actually makes it work far better. It's an absolutely amazing game, and if you've never played it for the PlayStation and you like fighting games or just unique games that are really great, definitely look into this. I can't remember how much it is anymore. But anyway, Bushido Blade 1 and 2, it's all about the fighting system and how that works. And it is so absolutely fun because of how strategic it is, and you really need to think about how you strike your opponent and where. And it also differs between which opponent you fight. And it takes a while for you to heal, too, as well. It's cool. It's not like you instantly, my arm is pretty much useless and almost got half cut off, so in the next fight I'll be able to use it again. Not exactly. It's not exactly up to the full strength or whatever you want to call it as it was before you messed up and you got whacked there with a sword. I love that. It's so cool. And then, of course, like I said, you can absolutely completely disable limbs, and then if it happens to you, you're a little bit, nerfed. Especially if it's the one you dominantly wield your weapon with, or hell, you just wield your weapon with. Then you're going to be kind of screwed. Then you got to kind of hope that you can still win somehow, or you get timeout and you did enough damage to them, whatever. It's got that kind of thing going on. Another thing, too, and I'll add in real quick here, is while they're not massive, the fighting fields that you fight on, the arenas, I guess you can call it, fairly open, and you can move around quite a lot, more than you can in most fighting games. Yes, most fighting games you can kind of circle around your enemy, dance around, do that kind of thing, sidestep. You do that usual kind of thing. You do that in many fighting games. In this one, you actually have higher up places you can jump up on. It almost feels like a wrestling game in some ways, so you can get up higher, and then you can jump down and do a downward slash or something like that, and downward stab. It's great. And in terms of the weapons, you actually have quite a lot of variety there, too. You don't just have broadswords or things like that. If I remember right, because it's been a while, you also have a few characters. You get nunchucks, You also get some polearm stuff. I think one guy's actually got a halberd. And of course, again, like I said, you got that one guy that has a gun. Can't remember if you use that or not. It's been so long. But you do have a good variety in terms of the weaponry. And in terms of how the game works in its balance and difficulty of that, because like I said, you can do instant kills. The game overall is designed and balanced very well, I feel. I always have. The second one as well. I keep mentioning that, but both of them are pretty much the same. I'm really talking about the first one here. In terms of the difficulty, it's not ridiculous, even though you can die in one hit. It doesn't always happen. They don't always immediately go for that unless you have the difficulty cranked up as high as it can go. Then they definitely will. But it's well balanced, that even if you're not great at fighting games, or if you've never played Bushido Blade before and you get used to that, kind of, at first it is awkward to deal with that fighting system and how it feels. It definitely gels with you and you get used to it, and it's absolutely fun. And it's kind of hard to stop playing the game. It really is. I miss that game so much, but Bushido Blade is amazing. It's one of the best fighting games I've ever played, and I think pretty much my top favorite fighting game if I had to pick one. Definitely 3D fighting game. If it was 2D fighting game, I probably would still go with Samurai Shodown because of how fantastic it is. But again, it's, like I said, the whole weapon system. You notice how that's a constant theme for me here. But Bushido Blade definitely is absolutely fantastic. I love it, and I still do.
So there was Mike adhering to my rules, good man, and he said he wouldn't have picked them anyway even if I had included them. A few people got a bit tetchy about it, but my game, my show, my rules. Sorry. Anyway, what does he pick there? Well, Smash Brothers Melee, fantastic game. I mean, I love Smash Brothers on the Wii U. I think, and the only other one I've ever played is actually Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii. So I've never played Melee on the GameCube, and I've never played the original one either. So I'm assuming it would be very, very good, because the other two are very good. So not surprised there with a pick like that. So I mean, a bit of Nintendo fighting in there, a bit of cutesy fighting. Soul Calibur 2, I love the first game, Soul Blade or Soul Calibur or any other bloody name you want to call it. But I've got Soul Calibur 2 myself, great game. I haven't played it more than enough. I should have played it more. I really did want to play it more than I actually have. But there's a good series, and absolute classic is picked there, and of course I picked it in my Foursome selection, Samurai Shodown. He's got the Neo Geo original, and just like Mike, it was the first Neo Geo game that I ever played was Samurai Shodown. I played it on the arcade, and I played it on the Neo Geo. I think my friend had a Neo Geo years ago. I can't remember who it was. Well, I think it was a friend of a friend of a friend of a cousin's uncle or something like that. Because I can't remember who the hell it was now, but I know someone had a Neo Geo, and I remember playing it on a Neo Geo and being absolutely amazed that he had a Neo Geo. He probably had 2 sports cars and a mansion and, you know, a personal lift and chauffeur, I don't know. But I remember that game blew me away, and I still love that game today. The whole series, Samurai Shodown, the whole series is fantastic. And finally, a game that I've actually never heard of and never played, Bushido Blade, I think that's what he says. I'm going to have to track that down and give it a go, I think, because he talks extensively about it. I did cut it down a little bit. So you can go, just pop over to the link underneath and you can go and see the full video from Kit if you want. But I've never played that game, so yeah, I'm going to have to check that one out. So well recommended, sir. Okay, so for this final foursome of this series, so the final Friday Foursome. God, that's a tongue twister. Final Friday Foursome 16 for this series, at least. It's summer, and in summer you get lots of outdoor activities and gubbins like that. And it's the Olympics as well this year. We've just had the Euros. Don't mention England. We were crap as always. What do you expect? You know, we're only good at cricket and rugby. Football, we may as well not fucking bother. Old world's better than us anyway. But we're not going to pick that. We're going to pick your 4. Oh, that was rude, wasn't it? Do it like that. Victory for the cricket and the rugby. 4 favourite sports games. Not everyone's cup of tea, I know, but some people love their sports games. Don't you, Woodland 37? Yes. So any complete free range of any sports games you want. You can include wrestling if you want. People used to include wrestling in the fighting games. You can include that in that if you want. But you can also include it in the sports genre if you fancy, if that's your thing. So I'm going to go straight away with, well, Wii Sports and all of its versions. So Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports Club on the Wii U. So it's in essence all the same game. But obviously it's the game that is credited to be the success of the Wii, with getting their grannies and little kids to wave the Wiimote around, playing tennis and bowling especially, one of my favourites. And I find it a great game to play with my children. They can really pick it up so easily. All the sports, maybe not the golf so much, but they really enjoy it, and that's why I really enjoy it. And all versions of it, fantastic. I just it was a stroke of genius by Nintendo there. People say it's old now and gets a bit boring, but I still find it great and I still find it fun. And I always got time for a bit of Wii Sports. My second pick will be a golf game. Now I've played loads of golf games over the years, all the way from Lynx 386 to PGA Tour, the original PGA Tour on the PC, or the old PC, Mega Drive as well. I had it on the SNES, a version of it on the SNES. The old arcade machines with the rollerball action. But the best golf game I've ever played was part of the Tiger Woods series before Rory McIlroy stole his franchise rights, should I say. Naughty Tiger. But Tiger Woods PGA Tour, Tiger Woods PGA 2004 and 2005 equal peggings. I've played them extensively. I love them, but I especially like the calendar mode that you get in them. They've got a really good soundtrack on them. They're very bespoke. You can create your golfer, your apparel, upgrade. The courses are really, really good on them. I just love the action and the way they use the analog sticks to create the swing. And it's a little bit simplified. It's not overly complicated, and I think they achieve the right balance with them two games. I'm probably going to plumb for 2005, just a little bit, because its graphics are a little bit better. And these are both on the PlayStation 2, by the way. I played the games after 2006 and 2007, all the way I think up to 2011, which is Tiger's last one probably. Cough, excuse me. But I didn't find them as endearing as 2004 and 2005. So yeah, my pick for them. A third pick, nearly lost my thread there. This is a game I first played on the Lynx, the Atari Lynx, and then I later played it on the Master System, and then finally the Amstrad, in that order, because I didn't know it was out for the Amstrad, to be honest. But the first time I ever played it was on the Lynx, and I loved it, and that's California Games. And I think everybody has ever, at some point, has played California Games in their life. It's a Sega classic in my mind. It was just the multi-event thing. California Games hit it bang on. It hit the multi-event idea bang on. We had winter games and summer games on the Amstrad and all that kind of stuff, multi-events. But California Games for me, it was just really so enjoyable. I mean, to beat your own score, to get all the tricks on the hacky sack game, to get all the stunts on the bike, get all the stunts, all the flips and stuff on the surfing, the tricks on the half pipe. So much to it. It's so simple, but so much to it. And I love the way you could pick your sponsor and your colours and all that kind of stuff. So I think a lot of people like California Games, and so there you go. I'm picking that. And finally, my fourth pick is a game that I've talked about a lot before, and it's kind of apt because the tennis is on at the moment. Wimbledon is currently upon us, and it is my favourite ever tennis game. I've never come across a tennis game. I like tennis games. I've always said that. I've never come across a tennis game that betters this, and it's obviously Super Tennis. And if you look into the card, you can see me and my brother playing Super Tennis. If you fancy, that's up to you if you want to do that. And that's the reason why I'm picking it, because it's the game I have had the best times playing, multiplayer with my brother. We played Street Fighter 2 and Gauntlet and loads of other stuff over the years, and on the Amstrad and on the PlayStation and SNES and stuff. This game took all of our time up, and it became a sort of in-joke between us of who was better at Super Tennis. I say I'm better, he says he's better. In reality, he probably is better, but I didn't say that. And because I hope he's not watching this. So Luke, if you're watching this, I didn't say that, I'm better. And if not, we'll have another game of Super Tennis to find out. But anyway, it's one of my favourite games. It's just the playability of it is just so good, and that's really all you need with a tennis game. You've got to get that playability right, and the playability is just spot on when it comes to Super Tennis. It doesn't have the best graphics. It has some good effects and Mode 7 effects. It doesn't have the best sound. I mean, it's okay, it's jolly, but it's the gameplay. It's just awesome. So there you go. Friday Foursome 16. Your 4 favourite sports games. Again, as always, for a response, just hook me up. Just tell me in the comments box, tell me on Facebook, tell me on Twitter. Make sure you tell me, Golden Age Gamer, because you didn't tell me, and luckily I found your response for the last Friday Foursome. Make sure you tell me. Enjoy. Please make as many responses as you want. Remember, all the back catalogue of the Friday Foursome episodes are there. If you ever want to make another response to any of them, anybody that's come across this video right now for new, for instance, go back and check the previous episodes out and see if you want to make a response to them. If you do, remember, tell me and I'll highlight you on my Facebook page and Twitter and all the stuff. Because anybody that responds to my stuff, I will promote you as much as I can. So thank you very much for everyone that's been supporting of the Friday Foursome. It will be back. It'll probably be back in the winter when I've got my personal shit all sorted out, basically. So it won't be coming from this room the next time you see the Friday Foursome. But I do like a foursome, and I know you like a foursome, so the foursome won't be gone forever. Trust the bug. But cheers. Thanks for watching. I was nearly going to do Woodland's catchphrase there. God, he would have shot me for that, wouldn't he? Friday Foursome. Out.